It's an unfortunate reality that accidents do happen in the workplace, despite the numerous safety precautions that are implemented. But rarely do they result in the death of almost an entire work team. This just so happens to be one such incident. Dilshod Marupov was born in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, to parents Rauf and Moira. Having been trained as a welder, when Dilshod was 21 years of age, he travelled to Canada for work. His overall goal was to eventually develop his own business and earn enough money to move his parents over to Canada for a better life. In the year 2009, after Dilshod had been in Canada for a few months, a fellow Uzbek immigrant named Vasylo Fazilov approached him about a job opportunity with Metron Construction. The job consisted of repairs to an apartment complex and involved an entire team of immigrant workers, mostly from Eastern Europe. Alexei Blumberg, Vladimir Korostin, Alexander Bondarovs, and Vasylo himself. Aside from being Christmas Eve, there was nothing special about the day of the incident. Dilshod was in high spirits due to a phone call he received earlier in the day about a possible welding job that was available to him after Christmas. A firm first step in the direction of visualizing his goal of starting his own business. Unfortunately, due to what would happen next, that opportunity would be lost to him. It was only Dilshod's second day on this particular job, which involved restorations to our 13th story apartment building at 2757 Kipling Avenue in Toronto. It's important to note that Dilshod had never worked at such great heights before, and his safety training, conducted by project manager Vadim Kazanelson, was less than half an hour long and very minimal. After that day's work had finished, Dilshod, along with his 4 co-workers, all stood upon the suspended 40-foot-long swing stage when they were joined by Vadim, the only person who was safely tethered to a lifeline. The purpose for all these individuals being on the swing stage was for everyone to be lowered to the ground safely, but at roughly 4:30 p.m, as the swing stage began to descend, it suddenly snapped in half. Dilshod and his co-workers plunged more than 40 meters to the ground below, while Vadim remained suspended in the air, still safely tethered. Vasylo, Alexanders, Vladimir, and Alexei all died upon impact. Miraculously, Dilshod survived the fall, but was heavily injured. He broke his spine and both his legs, along with receiving multiple fractures as well as a number of cuts and bruises. He was immediately rushed to Sunnybrook Hospital and placed in intensive care and remained there for several months. Out of the 5 workers, Dilshod was the only one who survived the fall. Out of the many potential sole survivors I looked through for this series, Dilshod received the most extensive and life-threatening injuries. He spent many months in hospital and faced a long and difficult recovery, including dealing with the physical and emotional trauma of the event. In an interview conducted a year later, Dilshod stated, "The pain is there every day. It is something like a constant fear and nightmare." Thankfully, Dilshod was not alone in his recovery. The Provincial Building and Construction Trades Council of Ontario assisted in bringing Dilshod's family to Canada, who helped him with his physio and his general recovery. Roughly a year later, Dilshod regained limited use of his legs with the aid of a walking frame. While Dilshod was recovering, Metron Construction was dealt a severe blow. After being taken to court, the company was fined over $200,000 for criminal negligence causing death. After initial appeal, the fine was later increased to $750,000. 7 years later, supervisor Vadim Kazanelson, again the only person who was safely tethered on that fateful day, was also taken to court and found guilty of 4 counts of criminal negligence causing death and 1 criminal negligence causing bodily harm. He was sentenced to 3.5 years, which he has since served. Joel Schwartz, the president and sole director of Metron, pled guilty for violation of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. He avoided jail but received a fine of $90,000. This no doubt led to the closure of Metron Construction as a company. The entire incident led to calls for tougher regulations regarding workplace safety, as well as more protection for immigrant workers in Canada.
In the year that's passed, there have been calls for tougher workplace safety regulations. Ontario's Ministry of Labour launched a safety blitz at hundreds of construction sites and a review on how to better protect workers. But those who took part in today's vigil insist the enforcement of labour standards is poor.
Within this year, 429 workers died in Ontario as a result of their labour.
As of at least 2017, Dilshod has regained better mobility and previously talked about getting back into the workforce. Currently in his late 30s, he recognises he will never fully recover physically, but mentally, he seems to be coping much better than he was.